Hey y'all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today we're going to be talking about age categories in RPGs. We've been playing the Game of Thrones role-playing game for just about a year now, and the primary differentiator statistically between characters is their age category. Some games have their race, you're a Scotsman, and you're an Irishman, and you're a Russian. You get different stats. Or you're an orc, and you're a satyr, and you're a rock man, and you get different stats. But in Game of Thrones, it's all based on age category. You're 10 years old, you're 20 years old, you're 60 years old. You have different statistics. It's a really great system. And, I mean, in brief, the way it works is the younger you are, the more destiny you have, the more likely you are to escape death. The older you are, the less destiny you have, the more likely you're going to be to die. But the older you are, the more experience you have at the start of the game to draw on. If you're better at things, you know more. And then right there in the middle, the man in the prime of his life, the adult, he's got a good balance of destiny and experience, but also his ability caps are a little higher. He's going to be stronger than a child could be, or an old man could be. He's going to be faster. He's going to be more cunning, because dementia can set in. Memories can be lost. So that's the way it works in a nutshell. And there's 7 different categories on this sliding scale. But that doesn't matter. For the purpose of the video, what matters is, have you tried characters of different age categories? Have you tried playing a 90-year-old man? A man who's the last of his generation. Perhaps even his children have died. The man who has great-grandchildren living right now. The man who's seen the world change before his eyes. When he was young, there was a different king. We were a different country. We had a different flag. Perhaps our religion has changed over time. Perhaps technology has changed over time. When he was younger, perhaps a hyperdrive used to leak radiation, and it was considered very dangerous and bad for your health to be on the lower decks of this ship. But now it's very safe. And he remembers all the people that died because of these faulty engines. Or again, sliding it down, you could be that child who doesn't really know what's going on. It's all this energy and enthusiasm and ignorance, and he just doesn't understand how the world works. And he doesn't know about history, these historical characters, where his nation came from. He doesn't know about where his religion came from, why this other race is angry at his race. He doesn't understand so many things. And he might have he still have a worldview, just a very simplified one. He really believes in good versus evil, and he doesn't understand that there's a million shades of gray going on. Or to play a man in his late 40s, perhaps, who's been an athlete all his life, and he's slowly losing that athletic ability. He's had injuries over time, they're nagging at him, and it just seems like his energy is draining away from what it was. It's getting harder to keep his cardio going on, and how does he deal with that psychologically? Or this man who's in his 50s, and he's looking at his athletic ability might indeed be pretty much gone at that point, compared to where he was. So he knows for certain he's not a peak athlete anymore. He could still be pretty respectable, pretty dangerous in a fight, especially with the dirty tricks. But he's watching his son come up and hit his peak, his prime. To have this pride as a father looking down on this. Or perhaps disappointment if his son is squandering his ability, if his son indeed isn't very good, and the father is disappointed. Is this the kind of father who's going to come through and say, "It's okay, son. I still love you, I still respect you, I'm still proud of you? Or is it the kind of father who's just shaking his head and saying, you know, things aren't like they used to be, and this generation inheriting the world is nothing compared to what we were. If only I were still young, I could show you. But and they could get, you know, bitter about it. They could get depressed about it. But just the age of your character can bring up all these storylines. You know, a kid coming in and hitting puberty, falling in love for the first time, getting depressed for the first time. You know, which of those is more powerful? And just exploring all these first time moments in someone's life. You know, their first kiss, their first they're a soldier, the first time they had to kill a man to save their own life. You know, it could even be something like their first communion or baptism, if you're in a culture or society where that's done in an adult matrix. So I just wanted to talk about the age categories. In Game of Thrones, they say, think about the age first. You know, that's one of the most important things. In a lot of other RPGs, they don't even mention the age. You know, everyone seems to play a character in his mid-20s, maybe his mid-30s, but they never hit that 14-year-old. They never hit that 50-year-old, a 60-year-old, a 70-year-old. And how are those age categories different? You know, between 50 and 60, you know, you're talking about a pretty sharp decline in your physical abilities. And then between 60 and 70, it could be even more so, or it could not. You know, depending. So let me know about the experiences you've had. Old characters, young characters, do you do it, do you not? Are there no children in your game for some reason? Are there no old men in your game? Or women, of course. And of course that can bring in, you know, menopause or andropause as well. But just let me know what you think about that topic, and if this is useful to you at all, because it's been great success for our game to have these old characters and these young characters, and have them all mixing and interacting. So until next time, though, have a good day.